मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Good morning, Shubhodayam, Guten Morgen. Today also, I'm not going to take up any quote from this book. I have a general topic to discuss with you. Language conundrum. Conundrum means a confusing, difficult situation. With regard to language, we have a peculiar problem in our country. There is no other country in the world which has this problem, because we have so many languages in our country. These many languages add to our diversity and richness. They make life more colorful and beautiful here. But at the same time, the same thing poses a disadvantage also. The disadvantage is, today the struggle is there. In all our Indian courts, most of the courts, all the arguments are happening in English. Particularly the other day somebody was pointing out, in Supreme Court, if you want to present your argument, you have to put your argument in English only. Why should be that? Where is the democracy, the person is asking. See, after independence, after 75 years of independence, still actually in a national capital, in a Supreme Court, if you want to argue your case and you have to present the case in English, why can't I do it in Hindi? Why can't I do it in my mother tongue? No, that provision should be there. In national education policy, new education policy, the focus is mainly on this. Teaching including medicine and engineering on mother tongue, in mother tongues. They respect to mother tongues. Some of the universities in the north, they have already introduced the courses in Hindi. Engineering colleges, they are now teaching in Hindi also. See, the advantage that we have is this, English is not our language. Basically, Britishers introduced it into our country because they ruled us nearly for 200 years. So we have not left it out. We have picked it up. So the advantage that we have is now this. We are able to migrate easily to countries like America, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom. So all these English-speaking countries, we are able to migrate very easily. And today, if you are dominating in software, particularly in America, the Silicon Valley, We are able to do that because of our language advantage that we have got. So there are both advantages and disadvantages. So if you just see, or particularly our Telugu states, what I see is among the parents and also in some schools, they're not teaching Telugu script at all. Okay? And parents also have this misconception that because the child doesn't know the Telugu script, he will not read anything in Telugu. So because he is compelled to read everything in English, he will be able to learn the language well. But that is a misconception. Okay, don't go that far. You can learn 2 or 3 more languages in addition to English, but it should not be at the cost of, at the expense of your mother tongue. మన మాతృభాషను వదిలిపెట్టుకొని పక్కన పెట్టేసుకొని ఆ భాష నేర్చుకోవాలి, అంత తపన పనికిరాదు, అవసరం లేదు. బికాజ్ ఆల్ ది ఇండియన్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ ఆర్ యాక్చువల్లీ బేసికలీ ఫుల్ ఆఫ్ స్పిరిచువల్ థాట్. భారతీయ భాషలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఆధ్యాత్మికత ప్రపంచంలో మనకి ఏ భాషలో లేదు. ఇంగ్లీష్ యాక్చువల్లీ is the language of the material man. I want you to understand. English is the language of the material man. Okay? The people who are very, very, very materialistic, people, not that actually there is no spiritual thought in English. Swami Vivekananda himself had spoken in English. Our people only actually brought that spiritual thought into English. Okay? But all the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, they are in English because Swamiji wanted to explain the India's spiritual wisdom to the foreigner. That's why actually he had to speak that language. Okay? But otherwise, the original spiritual thought is in Sanskrit, and from Sanskrit it has filtered into all the Indian languages. So the thing that we need to know is that we should not learn any language but at the expense of our mother tongue. That's why every Telugu father and mother, I request that you must teach your child Telugu script first. తెలుగు లిపి రాకపోతే ఇంగ్లీష్ తొందరగా నేర్చుకోగలుగుతాడు. ఎందుకంటే ఏది చదివినా ఇంగ్లీష్లో చదవాలి, బికాజ్ ఇంగ్లీష్లో చదవగలుగుతాడు. అక్కడ వరకు వెళ్ళొద్దని చెప్తున్నాను. ఓకే, దట్స్ నాట్ ఎ హెల్తీ ట్రెండ్. వీ డోంట్ నో ద యాక్చువల్లీ రిచ్నెస్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ మదర్ టంగ్. ఓకే, దట్స్ అవర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్, బికాజ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్డ్ టు క్లాసికల్ లిటరేచర్. So this generation of kids in schools are not exposed, are not introduced to the Telugu classics like, the Kavitra, Mahabharata, and also the Bhagavata of Potana. That kind of nectar, that kind of joy that you get actually by reading these books, actually you will never get by reading any other literature in the world, I challenge you. God himself had taken the form of Potana and translated Srimad Bhagavatam for us, for Telugu people. Do you know? God himself had taken the form of Tulsidas and translated the Sanskrit Ramayana into Hindi for the sake of the Hindi people. If you just go to the Hindi heartland, in every house you will find this Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana. Okay? Because in terms of enriching our culture, in terms of actually providing that spiritual succor, that book has done wonders. తులసీదాస్ రామాయణం వలన అది చదివి వాళ్ళు పొందేటువంటి ప్రశాంతత, ఆధ్యాత్మిక ప్రశాంతత, వాళ్ళు పొందేటువంటి రిలీఫు. ఓకే, బికాజ్ ఇట్స్ ఎంటర్డ్ ఇన్ టు దేర్ హార్ట్స్. One person's contribution. God himself had come down, because anyway these people are not going to learn Sanskrit. They won't be able to learn the scriptures in Sanskrit because that passion for Sanskrit language is not there. And that's the reason God himself had incarnated in these human forms and then actually had done the translation. And that's why today in Hindi heartland actually Tulsi Ramayana is more popular than Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, Valmiki actually sage himself, but more than that this book has become popular. And also Telugu states, we know that actually Potana Bhagavatam is more popular than actually Potana Bhagavatam is more popular than Vyasa Bhagavata. So this generation of people, at least when we were studying in schools actually, a little something from Telugu, when we were studying Telugu, something from Potana Bhagavatam, something from Kavitra Bharata used to be there. So beautiful and wonderful poems. Some of them we still remember. But if I ask this generation young people actually, please, one poem from Potana Bhagavatam, please say one poem, or from Kavitra Mahabharata, we don't know. That's the problem. So we are actually, because of this language problem, the cultural, richness we are losing, but we alone have this problem. There's countries like Japan, Korea, China, only one language is spoken across the country. China, Chinese Mandarin. Okay, they don't have this problem, but we have this, both advantages and disadvantages, but we are very rich linguistically also. This kind of diversity, proves for colorfulness and richness. We should not treat it as a disadvantage, because for a language to evolve, it takes thousands and thousands of years. So, because India is so diverse in every way, and you just seek the cuisine, you just take the climate, you just seek the soil, just a languages, a culture, traditions, so rich. It's like a continent, and more than a continent. You just see entire Europe. The entire Europe, there is more diversity in India than actually the diversity that exists in Europe. In any sphere you take, whether it's a food or clothing or any other aspect of human life you take, there is more diversity in this country than the entire continent of Europe. And we are so, rich in that way. But sometimes we think actually it's a disadvantage. Not at all. So you learn whatever foreign language that you want to learn along with English, but it should not be at the cost of your mother tongue, okay? Nowadays, some of the times, we see in newspapers also, the report comes. In schools, the board will be, people are displaying boards like that. If you speak in Telugu, you'll be fined. మధ్యలో తెలుగు పదం వచ్చినా ఒక తెలుగు వాక్యం మాట్లాడిన పిల్లలు ఎవరైనా తెలుగులో మాట్లాడుతుంటే ఫైన్ వేస్తున్నారు. ఎందుకంటే అట్లనే వాళ్ళు ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోవాలి. వాళ్ళు తెలుగులో మాట్లాడితే మధ్య మధ్యలో తెలుగు అంటే ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోలేరు అన్నటువంటిది. బట్ దిస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ మిస్కన్సెప్షన్, ఓకే? అంత దాకా వెళ్ళకూడదు అసలు. మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో ఉంటూ అక్కడ ఉండి నేను తెలుగులో మధ్యలో ఒక సెంటెన్స్ మాట్లాడితే, ఒక పదం మాట్లాడితే ఫైన్ వేస్తారు. అలా వేస్తేనే తెలుగు నేర్చుకోగలదు, ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోగలుగుతారా? అబ్సల్యూట్లీ రాంగ్. Just to learn the language, some other language, you need to read a few books in that particular language. That's all. ఇప్పుడు ఇంగ్లీష్లో 4 పుస్తకాలు బాగా చదవండి, కవర్ టు కవర్. యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద న్యూయాన్సెస్ ఆఫ్ ద లాంగ్వేజ్. కొన్ని రోజులు చదివితే మనకు అర్థమైపోతుంది ఆ భాష యొక్క సోల్, ద వెరీ సోల్ యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్, ఇన్ దట్ వే యూ కెన్ లెర్న్ ఎనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఫర్ దట్ మ్యాటర్. ఫస్ట్ లెర్న్ ద స్క్రిప్ట్ అండ్ దెన్ యాక్చువల్లీ స్టార్ట్ రీడింగ్ ఇన్ దట్ లాంగ్వేజ్. ఫర్ ఎ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ యూ విల్ బీ ఏబుల్ టు లెర్న్, యూ విల్ బీ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద లాంగ్వేజ్. But these misconceptions, we better actually come out of them, particularly this, that I have to learn the other language, for that I have to forget my mother tongue. What you lose if you forget your mother tongue, you don't understand, okay? The consequences will be disastrous. Thank you. Have a nice day.